All right, so part 7 of my story. I haven't done one of these for a while, so stay tuned. We're going to pick up where we left off. All right, so I left off on kind of a bad note, telling you guys how rough of a year I had in 2005 and how it trickled into 2006. Had my entire colon removed. Just an absolutely brutal year. I spent the latter part of 2006 and 2007 just building my body back up. And it was very, very humbling. But it was also exciting because when I went into those surgeries, I was convinced I was going to die. And when I came out of the surgeries and realized I was alive, even though I had struggles, I looked at it like, man, I've got a second chance. Not at bodybuilding, but at life. Okay, so in 2006, later part of 2006 and 2007, I started building my body back up, and it was a process. I remember going to the gym, getting on a leg extension machine, and only having one plate on there. And I remember my legs just shaking as I tried to do the leg extension. I remember doing 8-pound hammer curls. I remember just doing body weight squats. Everything was so hard when you had so much atrophy. I had been in the hospital for a while and then on a feeding tube and with no movement. I had severe atrophy, so my muscles weren't even working. So it was a very slow process. But you know what? It's just bodybuilding is bodybuilding. You have to be patient and you have to just let the results come little by little by little. And that's what I did. And initially I couldn't eat a whole lot. Like, I'm going to say 80% of my diet was just eating yogurt. I tolerated yogurt. I digested it okay. I didn't have any issues. So I was basically living on yogurt. And every once in a while I'd have an egg. I might have one egg. And every once in a while I might have a little bit of fish. But I just gradually increased my calories. And I gradually increased my training. And when 2008 rolled around, I was actually back up to a pretty lean 220. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to compete. I'm going to give this a shot. You know what? Actually, I got to take a step back. In 2007, late in the year, I actually competed. And I had, as I was preparing for that show, as I increased my calories, as I increased my training, I gave myself some pretty bad hernias. I had a condition called diastasis recti, and that's common for pregnant women. And what happens is your linea alba, right down the middle, just kind of disintegrates, and your abs start doing this. So, so I competed in 2007, and my abs were on the sides of my body, and I looked absolutely horrible. Very depressing. And luckily, we found a surgeon that does pretty rare surgeries, and he actually sewed my abs back together with surgical stitching. So I have this giant mesh in me now, and my abs are held together by stitches. So I got that done early in 2008, and I said, okay, 2008, now that I got this fixed, I just want to compete and just look decent. And I got to tell you, that was the first time in my life that I went to a show and I didn't care where I placed. That literally was the first time in my entire life. I was happy to be there. I was happy that I looked decent. And there's some other good news. My wife actually was pregnant. So we had achieved pregnancy, and she actually was pregnant with our twins. And when we went to that show, I want to say she was probably around 32 weeks pregnant. It was a show in Kentucky called the Kentucky Muscle. Late in the year, I want to say November, it was a week before the Nationals. And I remember the hotel was really nice. I think it was called the Galt House. I can't remember for sure. But I remember at midnight, the alarm went off. So we went downstairs at midnight. It was really crazy. But I did that show, and I won my class. And then I lost the overall. But I was so happy. I was super happy. Like, my body looked decent again. and I felt great. And the most important thing was now we had a couple kids on the way. So in 2005, 2006, and in some parts of 2007, life was pretty tough. It was pretty rough. But in 2008, man, things really turned around. You know, the biggest part were my kids. You know, we'd had some miscarriages before, so this time it worked out, and I was super happy. We had kids on the way. I was able to get back on stage. And at that point, I really wasn't thinking about a pro card. I was just happy I could do what I loved again. And so it was great. It was a great turnaround. So I'm going to leave you right there, and we're going to talk about 2009 and 10 and 11 in our next video, and kind of see what my thought process was, what shows I did next, what was going on when we had kids. Oh my gosh, you want to talk about a challenging time. That was a very challenging time. So I'm going to tell you how I survived that, how my wife survived it, and how my kids survived it. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Share this video if you like it, and comment below if you have any thoughts or questions for me.